Okay, so hey guys, and welcome back to another Access 72 video, and in today's video, I'm back with another interview here with Adele Winder. Dell, first of all, mate, how are we?
I'm good, mate. I'm sweet as. How about yourself?
I'm doing very well, thank you. Like I said off camera, it's a pleasure to speak to you here today, and so I suppose we'll get straight into it. So we'll start with the question, which I always like to start off with. Why did you start boxing?
I'm gonna be honest with you. I can actually trace this right back, right?
Mhm,
I don't know the official date. I might search up on my phone in a second, but
mhm,
it was when Amir Khan fought Graham Earl, right?
right.
I don't know when that was. I think it's probably around 2008, 2007.
Mhm,
And I remember I watched that fight on telly with my dad, and I was like, I want to do that. And my dad used to box, so when he like boxing the amateurs and stuff like that, and he was like, "Oh, you want to box, do you?" And we had like a bag in the back garden and
mhm,
stuff, and he was like, taught me how to throw a few punches.
mhm,
And we had like a double M bag as well. And he said, just hit that. And I was naturally like my timing was naturally good.
mhm.
And then my dad was like, oh, like there's something here. So we spent a few weeks like my dad just like teaching me the basics. And then I went down to my local amateur gym, and then the rest is history, sort of.
That's no, that's an amazing story, and I can tell how kind of passionate you are about the sport just off of that answer alone. And I suppose was Amir Khan, was there any other kind of inspirations for you?
Oh, big, yeah. Like, see, I'm a real old school guy. Like,
Mhm,
I study boxing like it's a lesson,
mhm,
like it's a school let day. I
mhm,
used to come back from school every day and watch boxing tapes. And I used to watch it with my dad all the time. Like I'd watch a new fighter and just try to practice something that they did. But my favorite boxer of all time is Mike McCallum, the body snatcher.
mhm,
He was the way he boxes is just so beautiful. It's just he's a pure technician, like a pure technician. But it's either that or Sugar Ray Leonard. Like
mhm.
them two were like my favorites. Like if I could box like Mike McCallum, have the charisma of Sugar Ray Leonard, I'd be the perfect fighter.
Mhm, mhm. No, most definitely. I really appreciate this boxing knowledge that you're offering as well, and it's nice to see. And so, I suppose, did you have much of a kind of amateur background, an amateur career?
Yeah, I did have a bit of an amateur career. I had about 26 bouts. But I boxed whenever from like when I was nine to
Mhm,
about yeah, until I was literally like 23, 24. Like, I'm gonna be honest with you, I never really liked the amateurs. I never really respected it because I had a few decisions that didn't go my way, and I just didn't. The reason why I didn't respect it enough is because there'd be some fights where I knew I clearly won them, but they still gave it to the other team. If whether it
mhm,
was like I was fighting on an away show and stuff like that. And the worst thing about it is I was fighting for free,
mhm,
and I was thinking to myself, I don't want to get punched for free. The only time I want to get punched for free is in sparring, you know.
mhm,
And I remember I fought in the under tens against a kid, and to be fair, the kid was better than me. Like he was the better man that night, but the referee called it off. I got stopped. I got stopped in the first round, yeah.
mhm,
But the referee called it off and stuff like that. But I was on the front foot. The kid he caught me with a few good jabs, yeah, and
mhm,
my head went back, but I was still carrying on and moving forward. I weren't wobbled. I weren't nothing like that.
mhm,
And the referee waved it off, and I was just like, "You didn't even give me a chance to even try to beat this kid." Like, you know what I
mhm,
mean? Like, you just waved it off because you think I'm getting hurt.
mhm,
Like, it disheartened me and kind of put me off boxing for a little bit. But then, as soon as COVID hit, and I was like, I started getting myself really into shape, and I was like, "No, I've still got this. I'm still good." Like they say, there's a saying that the worst thing you can do is the worst thing you can do in life is to die with knowledge. And I think I've got a lot of boxing knowledge and a lot of boxing know-how. And for me to not share it with the world and let the world see how good of a boxer I actually am and my IQ and all that stuff, I think would be a disservice to society. If I'm gonna be honest with you.
mhm. No, no, I totally agree. It's definitely coming from a kind of smart mind just from what you're saying already, and you can tell that, like you said, you've got that knowledge there, and so it's nice to see that you are turning professional, and so you're doing so now. And so, what was the reasoning as to why now?
Sorry, wait, hello, hello.
Hello.
Say that last part again, mate. Cut out a little bit. What was the what?
So, what was the reasoning as to why now to turn professional?
If I'm gonna be honest with you, I compete like it was like a year after COVID and like the amateurs started going back and I remember I won two fights in the amateurs and I thought I don't have this I don't my heart's not in anymore for this I don't know the Olympics is not going to be past 2024 the Olympics ain't going to have boxing in it
Yeah.
so I ain't going to make no Olympic team so I ain't going to be no like gold medalist So really, what's the point? I might as well just turn over and make some money. And plus, I've always loved the camera. I've always been a showman. I've always been someone who likes to entertain people. I mean, for my fight right now, I've been actually filming adverts for it
Okay.
because I think boxers like I don't like influencer boxing. I think I like it and I don't like it. It's kind of a double edged sword. It's like
Mm.
I don't like it for the way they portray themselves and they think that they're real fighters because they haven't gone through the amateur background. They haven't actually learned how to fight. They're just fighting. It's white collar boxing
Yeah.
essentially. Yeah. But one thing I do appreciate them is they know how to promote a fight and they do know how to make money from it. And
Mm.
I think once you know, not everything you see in life is necessarily a bad thing. There's always good little silver linings in everything in life. So you should always be able to pick something out of out of a shit situation if you
Mm.
think about how big influence boxing has got and much attention is taken away from real boxing. And I thought, well, if I'm going to do this, I'm going to film adverts. So I'm filming like real like telly adverts. That's not really to do with boxing, but it has me at the center of it, talking about my fight and talking
Mm.
about my story and stuff like that. And I hope like that gains some sort of traction on social media and allows people to then like get behind me and come to my fights.
Mm. No, I respect that a lot, and I suppose this kind of links on to this question which I've got, and that is for fighters coming up, a lot of the time they need to sell themselves, and like you've been mentioning, that's the case. And even people like Eddie Hearn have spoken about it. You need to have that fan base, that following, and so do you know how important that is to have that kind of ability to sell yourself?
Yeah, I do, and I mean, at the end of the day, like I think Larry Holmes said this as a quote from Larry Holmes. He said, the boxers are the prostitutes, and all the promoters are the pimps.
Mm.
And at the end of the day, if you are selling yourself, you are giving your body to a sport. No different from someone selling themselves for sex. You're giving your body to something, and if that's in that case, you've got to promote yourself. You've got
Mm.
to be, you got to be in shape. You got to be um you got to be in shape. You got to be, always on it. You always got to be making sure that you're selling yourself. You're becoming, you're in the public eye. Because I feel like too many boxers think once you've been signed to say like even some of the boxers who are signed to like say Eddie Hearns and Frank Warren and stuff like that, they think after they've been signed that's it. You don't need to
Mm.
do any work. It's like, well, no. The reason why you're not getting paid the big bucks is because just because you're signed to someone, you haven't created an image. No one really knows who you are. You might be on an undercard of a big fighter, but no one really knows who you are.
Mm.
You know, it's like a rapper being signed to a record label, and they're signed to a record label, but they haven't done anything with it. They're just
Mm.
expecting like the record label or the promotional group in the promotional company in our instant in our
Yeah.
case to sort of sell them. It's
Mm.
like, well, no, they give you the platform and they give you the exposure, but you've got to create your own image.
Mm.
Otherwise you're just another boxer on a show.
Mm. Yeah, completely. No, totally agree. And for yourself, kind of outside of boxing, of course, you're modelling, and it seems to be something that is going very well for yourself. And I suppose just to start on that topic, what kind of got you into that?
With modelling, I was. Do you know what I got? I was scouted. I was scouted at a music festival like ages ago, like pre COVID.
Mm-hmm.
Um, and basically, when I was on that, I didn't really think much of it. Like I was with my mates, and I was like, nah, nah, nah. But I went there, got signed, and yeah, kind of went through that. I mean, like a lot of people say, like why don't you just stick with modeling? You like you got the quote unquote the looks. So why would you need to be punched in the head? And I'm like, at the end of the day, boxing. I mean, not boxing. Modeling is a very short-lived career, and it's not. It's not that any there's always going to be a prettier face. There's always going to be a younger person that's going to come and take your spot, and it doesn't. But modeling doesn't require any talent.
Mm.
It's just you're lucky enough to be what that person or that client thinks you're. You fit what their image is, and I think I just kind of wanted to move away from that. But modeling has taught me a lot of things though. Like, it taught me how to be comfortable in front of camera, you know, to know how to how to present myself to the people and to front of like how to advertise myself. So I've taken a lot of things from it. I've made a lot of good connections from it. I've got a lot of friends who are influencers and stuff like that who I'll be inviting to my fights and giving them tickets to be able to promote my fight when they're there. So eventually, after a few fights, after they keep coming to them and creating content for me, the balls start rolling.
Mm. Yeah, completely. And I know you've got modelling going on, but I know that you're also a young lad as well. And a question which I always like to ask younger fighters coming up.
Wait, stop. Sorry, mate. Sorry. Can you repeat that again? It just cut
Yeah,
out a little bit.
yeah, no problem. So I know that you do your modelling, and you're also a young lad as well who is coming up in the sport. And so a question which I always like to ask is there any outside distractions that's ever kind of maybe tried to get in your way or anything like that in your boxing career?
Wait, repeat that last bit again, mate. I'm sorry. I'm moving to a better location because I think it's cutting out. One more time, mate.
No problem. So yeah, outside world distractions, has that ever kind of thrown you off, like going out partying or stuff like that?
Yeah, I'm gonna be honest with you. I think when you turn 18 and you start, you have your first night out and you're like, oh yeah, I go clubbing and hit the high street and you go like clubbing and stuff like that. And it did throw me off, but I haven't. I actually gave up drinking. I'm 25 now. I actually gave up drinking when I was 21.
Hmm.
So I had my 21st birthday, and then maybe like 3 or 4 months after that, I literally just said, you know what, like, nah, this ain't for me anymore. Like, so I don't drink. I don't. I've never smoked. I've never done any recreational drugs. I've kind of kept a clean lifestyle. I mean, I eat. My only bad habit is that I eat more than I should do,
Hmm.
but I obviously work it off
Yeah.
to keep myself in shape. I'm kind of like the Paddy, kind of like a Paddy the Baddy, but not
Hmm.
as extreme as he is.
Yeah.
Fuck me, he's fucking way extreme. But like that's my demon is food. That's my
Right.
demon.
Right.
But I'm taking precautions with it, especially with this fight. I know Christmas is coming up, but I have been eating healthier. I've been losing weight healthily. Like I ain't cutting like mad. The fact is that I've seen a lot of fighters that I know, especially amateur fighters. They'll have like they'll win a fight and then they'll go out and get absolutely smashed and they'll
Mm.
get smashed for 2 3 weeks on the trot. And I'm thinking to myself like you're taking damage and
Mm.
then you're drinking and killing brain cells. It's like you're going to be fucked by the age of your 30. You know what I'm saying? It's
Mm.
just not going to be. It's not right.
Yeah.
So I kind of wanted to keep myself in good shape, so I can last in this game as long as possible. I mean, I've probably got about a 10 to 12 year career in the sport if I look out if I do well,
Mm.
and to be retired by 35, 37, that's pretty good, I think, in my
Mm.
opinion.
Most definitely. And when you kind of speak about wanting to keep in shape and things like that, and for anybody else who possibly might struggle with keeping in shape or whatever, how important is it for you to be doing something that you're enjoying whilst doing it?
I think it's important to stay in shape, and I think it is hard. I have to admit, it's hard to get up in the morning. I mean, I've got incentive. Like
Mm.
most people don't have incentive. Most
Yeah.
people it's just for themselves. But at the end of the day, when people talk about like how much that there's some people that struggle with mental health, some people struggle with with just routine and stuff like that. At the end of the day, you it's all sort of self love, isn't it?
Mm.
Like if you don't love yourself enough to take care of it, people look for love through other people through their partner or whatever to give them love, and it's like if you don't love yourself you can't love your partner as much as you think
Mm.
because you're not taking that you ain't taking that care of yourself. So how can you take care of someone else if you can't take care of your own self?
Mm.
So I think it is important to get out there and just run. It doesn't have to be, you don't have to be an athlete. You just have to just be wary. You don't need to always you don't have to run millions and millions of miles, but just a couple of miles every day. I mean, my best advice for people who try to get into it is that if say getting up, say you want to get up before work, say you work at 8 and you want to get up like at 5 or 6 and go for a run, yeah, you're better off for the first week just getting your clothes on and going for a walk. Just going for a walk. Don't matter how far, just get out of the house and walk. Eventually, when you do that for a week, the next week coming, you'll run or you'll jog, and then it just gets progressively thinking because you're never gonna
Mm.
be able to go from 0 to 100. I ain't gonna be a 12 round fighter right now. There's no
Mm.
way. I mean, I probably could,
Mm.
but it's not sustainable.
Mm.
So I have to. I'm working up my 4 rounds, then I'm working up my sixes, my eights, and my tens, then I'll eventually be a 12 round fighter. And then that goes for habits for other people who want to get fit.
Mm. Yeah, completely. No, it's a very good message. And so to go back to your boxing career and to go back to you making your debut, do you have a possible kind of, well, I know you've got the date coming up, but is this just what all the focus is on at the moment, this date coming up?
Yeah, like purely my focus is just being in the best shape I can be in, the sharp as I can be in. Making sure all the preparation is perfect because the only thing like everyone gets nervous. Like everyone in boxing gets nervous. Like for anyone to say, I ain't scared of that guy, I ain't scared of this guy, and this and that and the other. I get scared in sparring. You
Mm.
know, I spar someone I've never sparred before. I'm worried. I'm
Mm.
anxious. Yeah, but that's because my body is heightened because I know I'm in danger of something of the unknown.
Mm.
But what I do to myself to calm myself down is that I'll be like, well, I've sparred X amount of rounds. I've ran them. I've been running like every day. I've been hitting the bag. I've been doing my pads. So I'm only doing what I've already done already. It's just in a new setting,
Mm.
Same with February 3rd when I make my debut. It's like I've fought on shows before. I've fought in London before. I've fought in, X, Y, and Z, like different these places. It's just I haven't fought at York Hall before.
Mm.
It doesn't mean it's not I haven't been in a fight before. I've always, I've had an amateur career. So it's like for me, it's just having to remind myself that I've already done this before. It's just in a new setting. It's the same thing but in a different font. That's all.
Mm.
That's all it is. That's all nerves are.
Mm. Mm. Yeah, completely. I mean, sometimes I've seen fighters make their debut and just kind of forget everything and just start panicking, and I suppose it is just a lot more down to keeping your composure.
It is. It's purely keeping your composure. It's the fact is it's not the people people think about, oh, I've got to put a knockout, I've got to get a knockout, I've got to entertain these people. At the end of the day, the most important thing is you got to just be safe and
Mm.
make sure the other guy is safe as well.
Mm.
Like, yeah, we all, everyone wants to hurt, but everyone wants to knock out, and yeah, we all want it. It's all spectacle. But at the end of the day, you want to make sure you get out there safe. Don't take too much punishment. Same with the other geezer. If you hurt him, yeah, and you stop him, you know. That's it. No, no punches behind the back of the head. No thing that's everyone wants a Mike Tyson thing, but you just, as long as that person gets out there safe, as long as that
Mm.
you get back safe and you get back home to your family, that's all that matters,
Mm.
you know. And when you get in your head about, oh, I want to impress people, I want to entertain people, like it's not about that. That's not what boxing is about. It's about making sure you don't take as much punishment and you just and you make sure people get back home safe.
Mm.
I think anyway.
I completely agree. And so you're fighting on a TM14 promotion show.
Yes.
How's things been with them so far?
They're good. I mean, I was supposed to fight on a show on November. I can't remember when Harlem Eubank fought. But it was the day after the Harlem Eubank fight. But I was selling tickets and I sold a few tickets. I sold about 20, 30 tickets. But everyone was going to the Harlem show, which was in
Mm.
Brighton. And obviously I'm based in Brighton as well. So like
Mm.
everyone was going to that and cost of living and stuff like that. People
Mm.
weren't able to buy a ticket for my show and for a ticket for Harvey show, back to back.
Mm.
And I just thought that was a thing. And also, I picked up an injury as well. Like maybe a week before that, I picked up an injury. Well, maybe like 10 days before, I've hurt both of my knuckle, my left hand
Mm.
from sparring. I hit a geese on the back of the head and on top of the head, and they just swelled up.
Mm.
So, but they have been really, really good. Like I really, really appreciate them. Like shout out to my manager Joe. Shout out to my trainer Luke. Like they've all been supporting me through this, and I'm just looking forward to just getting in there and showing people what I've got. Like I have a lot of goals I wanted to achieve in the sport, and I know for a fact that I will do it. It's in me already. I know it's in me. I just need to show it. You know what I mean? I just need a stage.
Mm. Completely, and this leads perfectly on to my next question being, what are the fans to expect performance-wise from you?
The fans to expect. They expect a show. That's for one.
Mm-hmm.
They're going to see a show. They're going to be entertained. That's for one thing. They're going to see someone who's pretty being in there doing some pretty boxing. You know what I
Mm-hmm.
mean? I'm not just a good boxer. I'm also a pretty face.
Mm-hmm.
So you get the boxers who've got the flat nose and the big
Mm-hmm.
ears, but I ain't one of them. I'm still pretty.
Mm-hmm.
You know. Um, I think that they're going to expect a knockout because I've got good punching power. I know that for a fact. So people should be expecting a knockout. But also at the end of the day, it should just be they should be they're going to expect pure boxing. If I'm going to be honest with you, because I think I like to. If I could describe my style, I'm a technician and
Mm-hmm.
I'm a purist.
Mm-hmm.
I'm not a scrappy fighter. I'm not a stereotypical ABA bouncing on your toes type fighter. I'm just a purist. I'm purely efficient. I'm
Mm-hmm.
an efficient boxer. I do what has to be done, and that's it.
Mm-hmm. That's perfect. And so, I mean, moving on, obviously you don't want to overlook anything, but moving on, are you wanting to be as active as possible next year?
Yeah, I have. I've written in my little notepad of like New Year's resolutions. I mean, I don't. Most people don't believe in that shit, and I mean, I don't really either. But a goal of mine, I'd say, I want to fight at least 4 to 5 times next year. So
Mm-hmm.
obviously, so I hope to get by the end of this year. So this time next year, I hope to have at least 6 fights under my belt.
Mm-hmm.
Um, if I have to fight abroad, I'll fight abroad. If I have to fight, I'll fight anyone anywhere. Like I
Mm-hmm.
don't care, you know. As long as there's money to be made, I'll fight anywhere, you know. And I'll probably take. I've been trained. I trained in New York actually. I was training in America. Come September because I thought I was fighting in November. So I might move out. I might move out in between fights and training out there for a little bit. 'Cause I've got a few friends abroad, so I can go train with them. But yeah, literally, looking forward, I want to get at least 6 fights next year, like under my belt.
Okay, that's brilliant. And from what you touched on there, training abroad, how does that kind of differ to that of training at home?
You're more focused. I
Mm-hmm.
think I'm more focused when I'm abroad. I like when obviously now at the moment, obviously it's my first few fights. It's serious. Obviously, everything in boxing is serious. But I mean, in terms of like, it's not a championship fight or anything like that. So I can have the sort of luxury of being at home and having not distractions, but having outside influences a thingy. But as soon as when it starts getting to Southern area title and start getting into English title and British level and all that stuff, I'm a type of person who likes to be locked away, no phone, no nothing, literally just me, and the task at hand. The whole Rocky Four thing. That's my thing. I like that. I've got a real need to just be zoned in. As soon as I'm zoned in, I'm unstoppable. Like no one can beat me. If I'm locked in, I'm locked in.
Mm-hmm. Most definitely. And so, for the future and your overall aspirations for boxing, what are they?
If I'm being honest with you, I want to be a world champion, and I
Mm-hmm.
will be a world champion.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I don't care how long it takes me to be able to be a world champion. I think what I have that's different from boxers at the top level is that I'm not easily swayed by things like
Mm-hmm.
outside influence. People have a lot of yes men around them when they get the higher and higher they go up, the more and more yes men they have, and I see through that bullshit
Mm-hmm.
already at this fucking. I'm a nobody
Mm-hmm.
at the moment. I am a nobody. Yeah, but when I become a somebody, I won't let the outside influences tell me, "Oh, you should fight this guy. But you make more money making." I don't want that shit. I just want to be a world champion, defend it a couple of times. Yeah, because I don't want to be known as a paper champion.
Mm-hmm.
I don't want to be someone who wins a world title and then loses it straight away. That's not my. That is the worst thing. If that happens to me, I'll retire. Like
Mm-hmm.
I don't want. That's the worst. That's a stain on my name.
Mm-hmm.
To be a paper champion. I'd rather have be a world champion, defend the title 3 or 4 or 5 times. Yeah, and if I lose to a better up and coming champion, then that's what it is. But I want to at least be known as someone who was a world champion. Because I don't think you are a world champion until you've defended it at least once.
Mm-hmm.
Because otherwise you're just you're belt hold. You're just holding a belt. You're not
Mm-hmm.
actually defending it. You're not a champion. A champion is someone who can defend the name of what they have been given. And if I lose it, if I had a world title and I lost it straight away, I ain't a champion. I don't call like when Andy Ruiz beat Joshua. I didn't think he's not a champion. He lost it straight away.
Mm-hmm.
You know, Buster Douglas when he beat Tyson lost it straight away to Evander Holyfield. They're
Mm-hmm.
not champions. They're just paper champions. For them to be like, oh yeah, I was a world champion. Yeah, but you didn't defend the title. You just fucking you lost it. You ate. You didn't. You let all that shit happen. You didn't live like a champion, so you
Mm-hmm.
shouldn't even be given that title. You just won a belt. You know.
Yeah, completely, completely. And for any fighters that do come on my channel and want to have these big aspirations, I always like to ask them, what is a dream venue for you to fight at?
Oh, do you know what? This is the. I got two. I got
Okay,
two.
okay.
Right. The Amex
Mhm,
Stadium in Brighton
mhm,
because I live 10, 15 minutes away from it and I can actually hear it sometimes.
mhm,
I can actually hear the crowd when the Brighton games are on. Yeah. I think that'll be because after watching the Harlem Eubank fight, watching everyone come out to the Brighton Centre, I think that the Amex will be a really good stadium for a boxing fight. I think it'll be a quality stadium.
mhm,
Um, so yeah, the Amex in Brighton. That's the top of my list.
mhm.
And then the second, I'm half Thai,
Okay.
and there's a lot of good boxers that came out of Thailand. Yeah,
Mhm,
do you know like the Charlo twins are both world champions. Yeah, and everyone
yeah.
thinks like, oh, they're the first two twins to be world champions.
Mhm,
They're not. The first world champions that were twins were actually Thai boxers.
Hmm.
Are two Thai world champions who fought one at bantamweight and one at I think he fought at super featherweight.
Hmm.
But they both were world champions at the same time. They were the Galaxy Twins. If
Okay.
anyone hearing this podcast, search up the Galaxy Twins. Korsai Galaxy and Korsai and Korkal Galaxy. Yeah, were both champions in the 80s, and they were both Thai. They were the first twins to be world champion.
Wow. No, that's
So
brilliant.
so yeah, they that and so I want to be the next. I want to be the best fighter to come out of Thailand in the modern day.
Hmm.
You know, we've got so many good fighters coming out of Asia. In Norway, we've had Pacquiao, we've had Donaire, we've had, you know, even some of the fighters lately, like Nakatani and all them people.
Hmm.
Like, yeah, they lost to certain people, but they're good fighters. Coming
Definitely.
out of Asia. You know, Inoue's done great for the Asian market. Like, literally, like people are paying attention to Asian fighters now because of Inoue, and I respect it. And I think he's going to win boxing when he fights December 22nd,
Hmm.
26th. Sorry, he's going to win. He's
Hmm.
going to be undisputed and all
Oh
that
yeah.
stuff. Um, but yeah, like, but there's a basically going back onto the venue. There's a boxing stadium in there's a stadium in Bangkok for
Hmm.
boxing, and I want to fight out in Bangkok as well.
Hmm.
So I don't care about Madison Square Garden. I don't care about the MGM Grand. Like none of that. I don't give a fuck about that shit.
Hmm.
Like if I fight there, cool. If I fight there, cool. But yeah, the Amex Stadium and in the Bangkok Stadium, that's what I want.
That's brilliant. No, it shows that you care about your heritage and your roots, and that's amazing.
Mm, I do, man. And to be honest with you, like, I don't know how many fighters you have from East Asia and like Far East Asia and stuff like that, but being like being Asian growing up was not cool. Like, it wasn't cool to be Asian. You were made fun of. You were told you were ugly, or you were a nerd, or you would be told the stereotypical jokes and of like being good at maths and all that shit. Yeah. But now it's cool to be Asian, or people now people that teased me for being Asian when I was young go to Thailand and tell me how great it is.
Mm-hmm.
But I'm like, yeah, but when I was younger, you took the piss out of me for being Thai. You made fun of me for being Thai. You made all the stereotypical jokes about me being Thai, and now you go to the country that I've got my heritage from, and you love it. And it's like, where's the not even the apology, but where's the acknowledgement of what you used to say? And when I get I've got all these things to say, and I'm glad I get to have it. I have a platform of yours. I'm grateful for you to give me a platform to even speak my mind like this. But once I get more notoriety and the ball gets rolling and I get more platforms, I'll speak out about this because
Mm-hmm.
I feel passionate about it, because I feel like people don't talk about how much discrimination Asian people get. It's very underlooked, or it's very like, oh, it's very not taken very seriously. And I want to push that issue going forward. I know you shouldn't really bring politics into boxing and stuff like that, but like, I want to be the champion of the people as well,
Mm-hmm.
not just a world champion. I want to be, I want to represent people of who look like me, who are like me, and I want to tell them that, like, don't let that kid tell you or whatever, you know, I had the exact same experience as you, and I look where I am now, and you could be the exact same, if not better, if not greater.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, completely. No, it's amazing when you can see and hear boxers have a thing that they're fighting for and a thing that they want to speak about, and it's nice to see when you say you don't want to bring politics into boxing. Sometimes there's certain fighters where they have a big, strong political thing, and it can be a bit overwhelming. But from the sounds of it, yours isn't. It's not overly political. I think it is just a genuinely good cause.
Yeah, and like I said, like, it gives me
Mm.
motivation knowing that I'm fighting for something.
Mm.
I know that I'm fighting. When like that's another reason why I get up in the morning.
Mm.
That's another reason why I hit the bag 10 times harder. That's another reason why I do that extra round in sparring. It's because I know that if I with the work I put in now, it will show later.
Mm.
What you do today, you don't have to do tomorrow. Essentially, is the same.
Mm-hmm. Of course, of course. And so I'll leave with this final question, which I always like to ask. You got this bit of a platform here. Is there anything that you'd like to shout out?
Yeah, I just want to shout out. I want to shout out my mum and my dad and my family. Big shout out to my dad, because he was the reason why I even got into boxing, and everything I know, he taught me.
Mm.
So I, without me, without him, there's no me. That's the first thing. I want to shout out my trainer, Luke Hewitt. from Whitehall Boxing Gym. He took me in and made me a pro when no one else wanted to give me a no one to give me a shout. I've had more clubs than Tiger Woods. I fought for every boxing club in Brighton, and
Mm-hmm.
Luke was the only one that gave me a shout and gave me hope. And I respect him for that. I want to shout out to my manager Joe as well for helping me sort out everything. I want to shout out to my promoters for TM14. John, you're great. You're a really good guy, mate. Thank you for putting me on the show. I really respect you for that. Shout out to the people of Brighton. I'll be representing you. I will be representing everyone out in Brighton. Come and see a fellow Brightonian fight come February 3rd. I want to shout out another guy, Liam Forrest as well. He's fighting on the same show as I am,
Mm-hmm.
and he's from Brighton. Basically my school's on top of the hill. His secondary school's on the bottom of the hill,
Mm-hmm.
and we're in the same year, same age, everything like that. We both boxed at the same time, and I just wanted to shout out him because he's a hard working fighter. He's a hard working guy, and he deserves as much praise as I do. And he's fighting on the same show, so I wish him all the best in his fight. I hope he sells as many tickets as he can and brings the Brighton people up as well as I am.
Completely, mate. Well, it's been an absolute pleasure speaking to you here today, and I'm sure a little bit further along down the line when things and you got the ball rolling, we could come and have another chat.
100%, and I say, mate, and I really appreciate what you've done, I'll keep you this promise, yeah. And when I become world champion, yeah, I'll give you free press.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah,
Mm-hmm.
I'll make sure you're mentioned. Yeah, you'll always
Mm-hmm.
get first access to me,
Mm-hmm.
always.
Amazing, mate. I can't wait, and thank you again, man. And